Hello and welcome to this video lecture series on data structures and algorithms using Python. So in this video we'll be dealing with arrays, and the problem statement that we have is reversing an array or string. So as you can see, we have an array of length 5 because we have 5 elements, 1 2 3 4 5, and the idea the problem statement needs us to reverse the position of the array elements. For example, the last element needs to go to the first position, the second last element needs to go to the second position, and so on. Okay, and in order to achieve this, so we have three approaches for this problem. The first one is iterative approach, the second one is recursive approach, and the third one is using Python list slicing. So let us look at each one of them one by one. So suppose we have this array having 5 elements, 12, 3, 45, 11 and 9. So what we do in the iterative process is we define two variables called start and end. Okay, where start is basically the first index position, that is 0, and end is basically the last index position. So if the array length is n, okay, this is the length of array, equals to n, then our index position will be n minus 1. Okay, and index position will be n minus 1. So now what we want to do is so this is the initialization part. We have initialized our variables. Okay, next is swapping. So what we want to do is we want to take this element, we want to take this element and swap it with this one. Okay, so it will be, let's call this as array. Okay, ARR. So what we want to do is we want to replace start with end. Okay, and we want to take this end array, value of the end array, and put it in the index start the 0 index position. Okay, so that's what we want to do, and then we want to increment the values. Okay, increment, basically once this is done, what we want to do is we want to increment the start value with start plus 1 and decrement the value of end with end minus 1. So what happens is, suppose we start off with 0. So this is our 0 index position, 1 2 3 and 4, right? So our index position is 0, therefore we have 12, and the end value is position 4, so therefore it is 9. So now what we do is we swap the position. We take 9, put it in 0 index position. We take 12 and put it in the 4th index position. Okay, so once that is done, our new array looks something like this. So 9 comes here, 12 goes there in the end, and 3, 45 and 11 remains the same. Okay, so now again what we want to do is initialization was done, then we swap the positions. Next we have to increment it. Okay, so now the start value, which was 0, becomes start equal to 1, and n, which was 4, becomes n minus 1. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So therefore these are our new targets. Okay, so we want to swap these positions now. Okay, so again what we do is go back to the swap. Okay, swapping the index positions, and next after this we get the values to be 9, 11, 45, 3 and 12. Okay, so now if you look at the array, 12, 3, 45, 11, 9, so we have the array completely reversed. Okay, so now if we want to because the incrementation is there, so if I take start to be equal to 2 and end to be equal to 3 minus 1 is 2, so this becomes equal, right? But our list is already reversed, so we do not want this, right? So our condition becomes when start or while start is less than end, we want to keep swapping the elements as well as incrementing as we go by, right? So this is how we can reverse a list using the iterative approach. Okay, so now let us look at the Python implementation in our Jupyter notebook. Okay, so let us first write a comment here. So iterative approach, ROACH. Okay, so at first what we do is we define a function called reverse array. For example, you can name it anything, and then I pass on the array, my start and variables. Okay, and like we discussed, while start is less than end, what we want to do is we want to swap the positions, right? So the start becomes equal to end, and the end becomes equal to start. Okay, so we swap the positions, then what we do is we increment, right? So start plus equals to 1, and this basically means start equals to start plus 1. Okay, similarly we want to decrement the value of end. Okay, and this again means end equals to end minus 1, right? So now let us take a test case. For example, let us define an array A which is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is an array of length 5. Next we define the variables. Say for example x is our starting index position, which is 0, and y is the length of the array minus 1, which is basically the end position. Okay, so next what I want to do is I want to print this. So print the original array. Okay, and then pass on my array, and I want to print the reversed array. The reversed array will be I run this function, pass on my array which is A, then x and y values. Okay, now if I run it, okay, it says list indices must be integers or slices not float. Okay, oh, so I misplaced a decimal point here somewhere, so it says none. So maybe what I can do is I can store this in some value, call it suppose reversed array, and then like run this and pass on the reversed array here. So yeah, okay, so we cannot, we need to run this. Okay, run this function. So after running this function, we saved it in a variable name called reversed array, and then we pass on into our this f string. So now let us look at the recursive approach. So in the recursive approach, what we do is we initialize the start and end variables. Okay, and then we swap the positions just like we did in the iterative process. Swap positions of start and end, and finally what we do is we recursively call the reverse list function, or the function we create to sort of swap these positions of start and end. Okay, so let us open the Jupyter notebook and see how to do that. Okay, so let us now look at the recursive approach. So at first let us define a function called reverse array. Okay, and then pass our array, then start position and end position, just like the iterative process. Now we have a situation like in the iterative process we saw that while the start was less than the end value, okay, we wanted the array to we wanted to keep swapping the index positions, right? But suppose a situation arises such that the start value is more than the end value or is equal to the end value. We really don't want that, right? Because we saw even before reaching start equals to end in the iterative process, we already had our array reversed. So in this case, if we have something like this, like where start is greater than or equal to end, what we want to do is we want to return, okay? We do not want to do anything, okay? But if this is out of the way, if start is less than end, so what we want to do is we want to swap the start and end positions, okay? So array start, array end will be equal to array, we want the start to be equal to array end and array end to be equal to array start, okay? And next, instead of incrementing and decrementing the values of start and end, what we want to do is we want to call this reverse array function again, okay? So this is what recursion does. So we want to pass on the array again such that our start value is incremented by 1 and our end value is decremented by 1, okay? So till the value of start is like less than end, okay, this reverse array function will keep recursively being called, okay, and until like at one point our start will be equal to end, and at that point we will just leave and return or exit from that function, okay? So let us look at our test case now. So suppose we have an array a equals to 1 2 3 4 and 5. So now I want to print the like original array, okay, original array colon and then pass on our value of a. So if we run this, we get our original array. So now what I want to do is I want to call the reverse array function, right, and then pass on the array which is a. Then we want to give the start value, so which is 0 most of the time, like mostly it is 0 unless we want to you know, swap elements from a particular different position, okay? So and the end value will be length of a minus 1, okay? So so when we do this, okay, we run this function. So at this point the array is already reversed, okay? So next what we want to do is we want to print the reversed array, and now if we pass on the value of a, because a is already reversed, so when we print out we'll get the reversed array as 5 4 3 2 1, okay? I hope this makes sense. So now we'll look at the third method, which is the Python list slicing method. So let us now look at the final approach, which is the Python list slicing approach. Before we understand how this works, let us first understand slicing. So in Python, when we do a slicing of an array, so suppose this is my array and I write a command, for example array 0 colon 3. So the index positions of this array are 0 1 2 3 and 4, right? So when we write this command, our values from index 0 till 2, okay, are extracted. So we'll get an array which looks like 12. So the value at index position 0, then the value at index position 1, and the value at index position 2. Okay, so this is not included, this is excluded when we write this array. Okay, now if we have another command, input command like array 0 3 and 2. Okay, so this basically means we want to start from 0. Okay, we'll get this value, then we'll skip this. Okay, because we have a value of 2, so we have to, like, first value we skip this one, then retrieve this value, and so on. Skip this one and retrieve this value, and so on. But because we have, like, the code is up till 3, so again the value at position 3, index position 3, is not included. So the values that we'll get back are we'll get 12. Okay, we'll skip 1, so 3 is excluded, and we'll get 45, which is the index position 2, and since 3 is not, like, we are not supposed to include 3, so this is our output. This is what we get. Now one more interesting thing is this is the index position from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we can also write the index position as -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, like this, in reverse order. Okay, so when we suppose we want, suppose, array from -3 to -1, so this will give us an output of so -3 is included, right? So this value, it starts from this value 45, then -2 we want 11, and -1 value will not be included, so we'll get 45 and 11, right? So one more thing is, if you want to, like, make a copy of this array, what we can do is we can write array square bracket and just write a colon and the square bracket. So this will basically copy this entire array. But if we give another colon like this and write -1, so this basically we traverse through the array by unit of 1, so it will go 1, 2, 3, like that, but in reverse, because we have a minus, so we'll traverse through the array in reverse order. Okay, so this will extract all my values in this direction. So naturally, without when I write this command, all my these elements from this array are automatically reversed. So we get an output of 9, 11, 45, 3 and 12. Okay, so this is another method to sort of reverse an array. So now let us open the Jupyter notebook and write the code to sort of reverse an array using the Python list slicing method. So let us write down a comment. So this will be Python list slicing approach, right? So what we do is we write an array. So a equals to, for example, again we use the same elements. You can use different elements as well. So now what we want to do is we want to print a colon -1. So when you do this, the entire list, or the we are using list instead of an array because it is convenient, as we are using the data types of the elements are same, all are integers, so not a big deal. So we can use list for demonstration purposes, and as you can see that this list has been reversed. Okay, if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon to never miss an upload. Thank you so much for sticking by, and I hope to see you guys very soon.